Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your overview for your 2024 horoscopes. We have a few big events happening in 2024, including Pluto's back and forth from Cap to Aquarius, with its final ingress into Aquarius at the end of the year in November. Also, Jupiter conjoins Uranus in Taurus right before Jupiter changes signs and enters Gemini, bringing some luck and expansion to those new house topics, which is exciting. But also, as soon as it enters Gemini, it squares Saturn in Pisces. And then we will discuss eclipse seasons as well, both spring and fall. So let's hop right in and get started. Let's begin with Pluto re-entering Aquarius for the second time, your 10th house, January 20th, 2024. And this isn't your first rodeo here, but Pluto entering your 10th house is like a very deep, transformative undercurrent hitting your career, public life, and what you're known for doing, your reputation. So this happened for the first time at the end of March 2023. If you want to look back at your calendar, your emails, your journal, this is part 2 of that journey, of that story. I just also have to say Pluto is a very slow outer moving planet, so it doesn't generally bring big explosions. It's kind of, like I said, an undercurrent under your life of things shifting. But here is what you can keep an eye out for. Some sort of career metamorphosis. Big changes on the career front. It's like a complete overhaul with your job and your career path. Or I shouldn't say a complete overhaul, but a benchmark within a complete overhaul with your job and your career path and your reputation. A reputation revolution is possible too. How people see you in your professional life, or just how people see you in general, gets a major shift. This could mean getting more respect, gaining respect, or facing challenges with your public image, likely both, because Pluto will be here for a while. But yeah, there's a redefining of roles going on when Pluto does this. Your roles that you play at work or in public might transform significantly or have a benchmark moment in their transformations. You could find yourself taking on new responsibilities and shedding old ones. There is a professional identity shift happening with Pluto here. Your entire approach to what you do for a living could change with Pluto here. It might involve rethinking your titles and just the path you're on in general. And I don't want you to think that this is the moment things change. This is the moment that there is a benchmark or significant step in the direction of change, right? Also, authority dynamics are coming up with Pluto in the 10th house. The 10th house rules authority. It rules people who have more power than you, and Pluto rules power dynamics and control dynamics. So there is some sort of power shift going on with authority figures. Also, an increased visibility is possible, finding yourself more in the spotlight, for better or for worse. Get ready for a little bit more exposure when Pluto's in your 10th house. But this is a good time to rethink goals. Those big overarching life goals that you have just sitting in the back corner. They're up for some serious re-evaluation. But yeah, power plays at work are possible too. The power struggle thing I was talking about, or a need to reassert yourself more strongly in your career, a need to take your power back where you have given it away to someone who you thought held more power. I don't want to keep hounding on the 10th house being your job and your career and profession. That is the modern take, though. That is what the 10th house, can mean. But the 10th house also rules, like I said, your overarching life goals and direction and how people see you. It's what you look like on stage to other people. So it's all about evolution, power dynamics, and potentially reinventing the wheel in your career and what you're known for, the roles you take on. If you don't have a career traditionally, like you're a homemaker or you have a different kind of role you take on in your family, we're talking about that too. Big changes on the horizon though, with Pluto getting angular. So let's move to eclipse season, the first eclipse season in the spring. And this eclipse season is shaking things up big time in your 6th and 12th houses. And it's another benchmark moment with the universe pressing a reset button in your daily grind and with your inner world. These changes began first with the eclipses that happened in fall of 2023. So again, look back at your records to figure out what was happening in the fall of 2023. That is the end of September and the beginning of October. So this eclipse, I want to talk about March 25th first. This is an eclipse happening in Libra, which is your 6th house, the house of the daily hustle. So you could be experiencing some major endings and major beginnings, shifting benchmark moments within the changes with your routine. Your daily routine could get a major shakeup. New habits incoming for eclipse season in spring. That is the end of March. Workplace wobbles, things at work might be a bit topsy-turvy. It's interesting how different transits are saying similar things. Expect changes with coworkers and with your work environment. Your to-do list might feel like a tornado during eclipse season. A never-ending list of tasks might be happening in the spring. It's either getting flipped or you're finding ways to tackle it. Also noticing some sort of health situation. Paying attention to your health is important during this eclipse season in March, at the end of March, but it's pushing you to new routines, new diets, some sort of wake-up call possibly with, like me, I need to work out. I need to actually start doing push-ups so that I'm not hunched over like this all the time. So it doesn't have to be a scary health thing. It could be something you decide to do, like posture therapy. Also, the 6th house rules your pets. So if you have pets, things could be changing with them at this point. Also, the 6th house rules people that you hire. If anybody that you hire, from assistants to cleaners to employees, might be up for a change or a new phase of life. Not a new phase of life. That was really dramatic. You know what I mean. But this eclipse for you is a lifestyle level up. Your whole approach to daily life might evolve. This is like lifestyle 2.0 for y'all after this eclipse. The next eclipse is April 8th, and this is in Aries in your 12th house, which is your inner sanctuary. And this is an eclipse that asks you to retreat and recharge. It asks you to face spiritual shifts. It asks you to travel. But this kind of travel will be more about soul searching or retreating or, inner mental health, inner care type of vibe. Mental health matters with the 12th house. There's a big focus there. Therapy, meditation, dealing with mental health in a new way is possible with this eclipse. But there's a behind the scenes shakeup going on, which could be mental. That's behind the scenes, right? Stuff you've been working on quietly might come to light or change direction or notice a significant benchmark moment. And the 12th house also has to do with secrets. So secret spilling might happen. Those hidden secrets, hidden feelings might start spilling out. And if you felt stuck and confined, this is an eclipse that could bring much needed clarity and a way out of this confinement. So eclipse season in your 6th and 12th houses is all about wrapping up old chapters and starting fresh, both in your day-to-day and in your deeper, more personal, private, inner areas. It's a eclipse season for transitioning, where you're sorting out all of your external responsibilities and aligning them with your inner needs and your secrets. So get ready for some big transformation vibes during eclipse season. Again, these are the similar vibes to fall of 2023 if you want to check out what was happening for you then. The next thing in April, we're still in April. April 20th is when Jupiter conjoins Uranus at 21 degrees Taurus. And this is happening in your 1st house. So you get a little roller coaster of change and excitement in how you see yourself and how others see you. So maybe for this is interesting because they will be conjoining for the entirety of April, but this is when it exacts and when the energy is strongest. So you may maybe expect some bold shifts in your sense of self at this point. You might start seeing yourself in a whole new light. Body and health breakthroughs are possible. It's interesting, again, how we have these similar themes coming up, from Pluto changing signs to the eclipses, and now we have the 1st house. So there may be some surprising changes or sudden improvements with your health, and a better well-being, physical well-being could be on the horizon. Jupiter brings luck and expansion. Traditional astrologers would tell you that Jupiter brings expansion for better or for worse, and that is true. But Jupiter is also benefic, so, it is an optimistic planet at the same time. And Uranus is all about shaking things up. No, Uranus is about authenticity, and Uranus will get there however Uranus needs to get there. And that will sometimes be rebellion or shaking things up or unexpected surprises, or it could even be something that's shocking. So Jupiter expands this Uranus authenticity. And authenticity is often unconventional also. So Uranus brings non-traditional, unconventional vibes to the table, and Jupiter expands them. So you could notice a style revolution. Your personal style, your appearance might go through some sort of radical transformation, total makeover vibes. A vibe upgrade is happening on 420 for y'all. You're likely to radiate a new, more dynamic energy that others will notice, whether or not you notice. How you perceive the world and your place in it could dramatically change, opening up new perspectives, or like a new perspective opens up this new world for you. Realizing things. What did Kylie Jenner say? It was a big year for realizing things. That's y'all. You're going to be a lot more spontaneous also. You might find yourself being way more open to adventures and experiences. And this is also kind of a confidence boosting aspect, because Uranus wants you to be yourself, be authentically you, no matter who it bothers, and Jupiter gives you the confidence to do that. So this is an increase in confidence and a feeling of being more in tune with your true self. Also, with this transit around this time, you might find yourself in the spotlight or receiving attention in ways that you didn't really expect. So this is a very bright, exciting, and full of surprises type of transit to look forward to on April 20th or leading up to April 20th. It's a month of personal reinvention and embracing the unexpected in your life. So April is a time for new things. And this moves us to Jupiter entering Gemini on May 25th. Jupiter enters your second house when it enters Gemini, and when it does that, it immediately trines Pluto in Aquarius in your 10th house. So with this, you are looking for some significant and positive changes in the realm of your finances and career. So financial growth is possible. Jupiter brings growth to things, and it's going in your second house, which is about money and finances and material things. So an increase in income and resources. This is a great time for financial growth and stability. Also, career advancements with that trine to Pluto. Opportunities for significant movements in your career would probably come up with this transit. Also with this trine to Pluto, your public image and your reputation might be getting a boost, and you might get some recognition and respect that is owed. But yeah, positive changes in job roles is possible at this point. You might find yourself taking on new, more empowering tasks with work. You will have an increased influence in general with authority figures or in your professional field with this transit. This is also a good time to make strategic purchases. So like smart and beneficial decisions regarding purchases and investments are more likely and also supported. New opportunities for income is another way that this can manifest. You could encounter new ways to increase your income, possibly related to your career, but not necessarily only related to your career. But this is a really good year, I should say, 12 months moving forward, to align your career with your life goals to then get financial rewards for it. So this is a time for harnessing opportunities for growth and for transformation with your finances, with your professional life. This is a good month where hard work can really pay off in tangible ways and where you will make significant strides towards your long-term goals. So we like April, we like May and June. Those are going to be really nice. Actually, I spoke too soon, okay? We love Jupiter in your second house, and Jupiter will be there for 12 months, helping you farm new ways to make money. But at first, initially, when Jupiter moves into Gemini, it immediately squares Saturn. I shouldn't say immediately, but it pretty much immediately squares Saturn. And this will exact on August 19th. So from the end of May to the middle of August, we will have that nice Jupiter in your second house vibes of like money and professionalism, but it is squaring Saturn in your 11th house. Again, this is August 19th when it exacts, and due to a retrograde, it will happen again in December, and we'll talk more about that later. But firstly, when Jupiter enters your second house, it will square Saturn in your 11th house, and that creates a dynamic that challenges you to balance your personal resources, all that yummy stuff we were talking about, with your social commitments or your community involvements or some sort of group that you're involved with, whether that is an actual like Facebook group, whether that is a group of family, some sort of group dynamics. So again, this will happen in December another time. So this is the first pass of it. And what can we expect with this vibe? So financial caution is given. I'm annoyed because I just like hyped you up on Jupiter entering Gemini. So with all the exciting financial stuff coming in with Jupiter entering your second house, you still might face some sort of tug of war between being cautious with your finances and also the demands of social or community or group involvement that requires spending on some level. So you're not necessarily going to be chomping at the bit to spend the money that you get, which could be good, right? So this is also a good time to rethink investments, especially related to social circles. So there may be a need to reassess how much you invest, both time and money, in a group that you're involved with, in a social network, in a community project, in a project you're working on with other people. You may also notice restrictions in your social ambitions. So like efforts towards social work, activism, group activities may not yield immediate rewards, which requires patience. But that doesn't mean it won't happen. You know how Saturn is. It slows things down, it makes things more serious, and it asks you to build a very solid foundation. And sometimes that's really annoying because we have to check all the boxes before we get there. Also, there could be, since there's a tension here between the 11th and second houses, tensions in friendships or with an ally over finances. So financial disagreements or tensions with colleagues, within networks, with friends is possible. It's not impossible to work through it, but there may be tensions, delays, obstacles, blocks, etc. Also, there is a careful expansion of social networks that's coming up. So you may want to expand your social circles or notice community being more active, but you may notice you want to be more cautious about that, or you want to pull back and you're not feeling as social as people want you to be. So Jupiter square Saturn is like having one foot on the gas and one on the brake, especially when it comes to balancing your budget and balancing your relationships with your community ventures. So it's all about finding that sweet spot where you can handle your finances smartly without ghosting your social life entirely. And then this brings us to Pluto's final entrance into Capricorn, re-entering Capricorn for the final time, September 1st. So considering that Pluto has been in your ninth house for like 15 years, whatever, since 2008, now is the final stretch. This is the final 2 months, and it's likely about culminating and solidifying the transformations that you've already experienced. So it's more about finalizing perspectives on the world. I know that's a really broad thing to say, but like solidifying significant changes in your beliefs, philosophies, perspectives that have evolved over the years. Also, this is a 2-month time because, again, Pluto will only be here 2 months before it moves back into Aquarius. This is a time to wrap up any intensive studies, like bringing to a close or reaching a pinnacle or benchmark moment in deep studies or research that you've been involved with. This is also a good time to reflect on your travel experiences, looking back on your travels and looking back on how traveling has changed you and integrating these lessons into your life. This is also a good time for a good 2 months for spiritual integration, like cementing any new spiritual beliefs or practices that you have developed since 2008, making them a core part of your life. And this is extended into astrology and mysticism mastery in general, consolidating your knowledge and experiences with mysticism and astrology, possibly sharing your wisdom with others on some level. But this is a 2-month time of educational milestones. You might be reaching a significant conclusion with education. Also, the ninth house rules storytelling. So any form of storytelling, whether that's writing, whether that's making TikToks, whether that's drawing pictures that tell a story, any storytelling, but especially writing, is going to be evolving or coming to its final moment of transformation, where it will then show you where it's leading you next. So like getting published or finally finishing a manuscript, something like that. Also, the ninth house rules dreams. So understanding the importance of dreams and the subconscious insights that you are getting, that you have been getting since 2008, realizing your relationship with dreams is important. The ninth house rules legal situations and dealing with lawyers and the law. So finalizing situations with lawyers, with beliefs around legal and ethical issues based on the long-term transformation that you've experienced is supported. But yeah, these final 2 months of Pluto in your ninth house are more about integrating and solidifying the profound mental and spiritual changes that you've undergone since 2008 and expanding your mind and exploring deeper knowledge. It's the final 2 months to reflect on your journey and prepare for how these transformations are going to inform your path forward with Pluto entering your 10th house. We want to take all those lessons with us when we move forward. And next I want to talk about fall eclipse season. So we have the first eclipse on September 17th, and that is the first eclipse in Pisces, in your 11th house of the social sphere and wider community. And as I said earlier, eclipses are all about big endings, big beginnings happening at the same time, intertwining. And this will be kind of like a taste into the eclipses that will be happening in 2025. So community changes, again, shifts with your involvement or role within your community are possible with this eclipse and also into 2025. Altered social circles, colleague dynamics changing, financial gains or losses through work are possible. Benchmark moments there, shifts on how you earn money from your job or career is possible. And that doesn't mean necessarily losing a job, gaining a job. It could be like a new type of payout that you're doing. If other people's children or a third spouse is a part of your life, some developments with that is possible. The 11th house rules other people's children. That could be your friend's kid. It could be your step kid. But expect some developments with children. And if you are I know it's silly, but the 11th house rules your third marriage. So if you are in a third marriage or serious partnership, there could be developments with that. Also, 11th house rules activism, social work. So major shifts in your involvement with these things is possible. Overall, though, an eclipse here is about expanding and changing your network. The 11th house is like the I know a guy vibes. The 10th house rules the king, and the house next to that is the 11th house. That rules the hand of the king. And the hand of the king, the 11th house guy, is the guy who does all the work behind the scenes and consults with people who are important. So overall, your professional and social network will be dealing with some shifts during this eclipse. Interestingly, the other eclipse, October 2nd, is again in Libra, in your 6th house of daily grind and well-being. This will be like the 4th eclipse in this house or on this axis for you. So this will be familiar energy. It'll be another benchmark in your daily routine or in your to-do list or with your coworkers, your service workers, who you hire, your pets, etc. But more specifically, you can expect an overhaul with your routine, new habits on the horizon, changes at work, anything from new coworkers to different job responsibilities supported. To-do list transformations, like your never-ending to-do list at this point might finally get manageable somehow. Maybe you'll find new ways to tackle your to-do list. There is a health focus, again, with this eclipse, big changes on how you handle your health, from diet to exercise, mental well-being, a benchmark in that direction. Another possibility, if you have pets, there could be significant changes in your relationships with them or with their well-being. Another, again, hired people. So changing dynamics with anyone that you employ is possible, like assistants or service providers on some level. But yeah, lifestyle shifts, again, another benchmark there, a new benchmark in how you approach your daily life is possible with that eclipse. And this brings us to November, which is when Pluto re-enters Aquarius for the final time, November 19th. So let's talk about, again, Pluto in your 10th house. It's been a bit of a roller coaster with Pluto swinging back and forth. We talked about Pluto entering Aquarius at the beginning of this video. Again, Pluto first hit Aquarius in March of 2023 with a comeback again in January of 2024. And now here we are rounding out this transformative trip. So if you've been keeping tabs on your career moves, like checking your old emails, your journal entries, etc., you've probably seen some big shifts in March of 2023 and January of 2024, and this will be the final shift forward. So you can expect maybe a career 180, the final step towards a change in a career. Major shifts like jumping industries or landing a dream role that you never thought you'd get. Also, Pluto, again, your reputation gets touched on some level. One day you're the office hero, the next you are smoothing over a misstep. And this has to do with taking your power back with your reputation and what you are known for. We are taking our power back and not giving away our power about our reputation. Role reversals at work, again, maybe you've gone from a team player to the lead or vice versa. Your role's been doing some serious shape-shifting over the past year. Pluto asks you to ask yourself, who am I professionally? You've probably been asking yourself that a bit by this point. Like, are you really the marketing guru? Or is it time to chase that writing dream? Is it time to write a book? Shifts there. But yeah, spotlight moments are possible. You've had your fair share of all eyes on you at work, for better or for worse, and it's time to get used to that limelight with Pluto here. On the other hand, Pluto works behind the scenes, so you could be holding all the power or in a spotlight from behind the scenes. But yeah, this is a good transit to rethink a dream. Those big career dreams that you've had, that they've been on the back burner, you've probably evolved since you've considered those dreams, and maybe climbing the career ladder is bringing you down, and it's time to build your own career ladder. Again, Pluto rules power dynamics. So office power plays or power dynamics, control dynamics with people in authority to you. That could be navigating tricky office politics or finding yourself in the middle of a who's in charge scenario could come up with Pluto changing signs. Pluto is a slow-moving planet, like I said. So it's not necessarily that a big thing will happen when Pluto enters, but there is a benchmark moment when Pluto ingresses. This is a good time to take advantage of new you, new brand. If you want to tweak your LinkedIn profile or redo your resume, this is a perfect time for that. It's all about reshaping how the world sees you, especially professionally. So as Pluto takes its final bow in your 10th house, it's like the last chapter in the transformation saga in your work life, but also just in your overall direction. You've probably grown a lot more than you've realized with all these shifts in roles, goals, tasks, responsibilities, and how you see yourself. There's so much that has changed. It's important to look back at that point. I know you're probably watching this before it happened, so you can't look back, but know that you will change a lot with 2024 and your roles and your goals and all that. It will be a journey, but let's just say that your career after Pluto will probably not be what you expected, but likely something pretty dang amazing. So let's move on to Mars. Let's move on to December, because Mars will be stationing retrograde at 6 degrees Leo in your 4th house, December 6th. And retrogrades, before I get into Mars specifically, I want to talk about retrogrades because some people get afraid when you talk about retrogrades. Retrogrades are beautiful parts of the cycle, okay? Retrogrades are about reflection, reassessment, reviewing, revisiting. For a planet to station retrograde, it has to stop fully and then change directions to move backwards, like a car going into neutral before going from drive to reverse. So things will feel a bit slower at the beginning of December, with Mars slowing down to then stop. When Mars stops, all of the Mars associations also stop. So there is a slowdown and an internalization of things. There is an opportunity to rework and revise things. So whereas the stationing period is about stopping, the actual retrograde period is not stopping. The retrograde period is moving. So the planet stops, it moves backwards, and it picks up speed again. It doesn't just like stop when it moves backwards. So it's not all stopping and delays. It is also reconnecting with the past. It is also about working on something you've considered before, or working through something you want to then present at the end of the retrograde. It's not all about delays and obstacles, but it does bring those things. So let's talk about Mars in your fourth house, though. This is a time of deep internal reflection. The fourth house is one of the most private houses, and it also brings possible shifts with your home, your family, and property. So reassessing your home life is something that might come up with this. This is a time to think deeply about your living situation. Like, are you really where you want to be, literally and figuratively? Also, there may be some sort of family dynamic review that comes up, like revisiting, possibly reevaluating relationships with family members due to conflict, due to standing up for what's right, are all possible. And that doesn't mean that it's just a month of conflict. It means this is an opportunity to work through issues with the fourth house. Also, I didn't mention this. This is interesting because Venus went retrograde in this same house in the summertime of 2023. So Mars is coming through and doing similar things that Venus did, and like really curating and crafting and what's the word I'm looking for? Sculpting what these fourth house matters represent. So there may be similar themes coming up from the summer of 2023 at the end of 2024 while Mars is retrograde. So a deep dive into your roots, into your upbringing, understanding how that shapes your present is supported and most likely happening. Also, real estate gets brought up. So if you're dealing with a property or some type of real estate, you can expect some sort of delays or a need to revisit plans or some sort of project that you need to focus on with that. Also, ancestral connections are brought up with the fourth house here. This is a retrograde where connections to your ancestors or your heritage might become more significant in some way. Significant doesn't necessarily mean important and something that you need to like be focusing all the time, but it could mean that it is just significant mentally, in what you are processing for how you are, how you were raised, etc. But again, the fourth house is a very private house. So slowing down to truly process and understand your feelings, especially around home, family, and the way you were raised, is supported. This is a good retrograde to heal around family matters. And in order to do that, you might have to feel some pain through discussions, through feeling, just releasing old pent-up feelings that you haven't, families are so quick and easy to just sweep things under the rug, and this is a transit that rips the rug out and forces you to look at things. And that can be painful, but it is useful at the same time. So Mars retrograde also brings up discord with home-related matters. Maybe there's miscommunications, misunderstandings, but again, Mars is pushing you to work through these issues. Also, retrogrades reveal hidden things sometimes. So the revealing of hidden family dynamics, uncovering hidden truths or dynamics within your family that were previously overlooked. I know I'm making it sound like some huge thing. It could be a huge thing, like realizing that your dad has a whole nother family somewhere else, but it could also be realizing, how your mom never being there for you as a kid affected you as a child. It could be one or the other. It could be both. Okay, another thing is larger forces at play affecting your home and family life is possible. So recognizing that broader forces like social trends, political climates, other people's health may be influencing your family, may be influencing your home, your property, your private life, and your decisions. It's a good retrograde for looking inward, understanding your deepest needs, your deepest desires, and preparing for those changes or new beginnings once Mars stations direct in 2025. This is a good time for moving. It's a good time for dealing with property issues. It's a good time for dealing with family traumas. It's a good time for revisiting family members you haven't seen in a while. It's all about introspection and realignment regarding your home, your family, your personal foundation in general. It's a good retrograde, a good month or two to look inward, to go to therapy, to work through family issues or security issues. It's a time to work on understanding your deepest needs and desires, and of course, prepare for the changes and new beginnings once Mars stations direct. And this moves us to the final Jupiter square Saturn, Act 2. December 24th is when this exacts, but you will be noticing this all of December around the same time as the Mars retrograde. So remembering what happened in August will be helpful in understanding what to expect for the end of the year as well. Jupiter in your second house squares Saturn in your 11th house, and this is its final pass. This is deja vu vibes, but here's a little refresher on the vibes. This vibe puts social plans on ice. Thank you, Saturn. Having to say not yet to organizing a block party or organizing an event. Balancing your self-esteem with peer pressure. You may notice there is some sort of good thing happening in the money department of your life, but there is also tension or a block or obstacle regarding a community, a group, bureaucracy of some kind. There is some tension there. So patience with community involvement and patience with community situations and patience with investments, time and money is important in December. Don't be too hard on yourself if Christmas shopping is hard. You're navigating a lot of financial strains with friends. You're not alone there. One thing I do want to mention, though, if you are planning to travel with other people in December or in August, be very, very clear about your cost splitting or like budget, that sort of thing, because a dispute over costs with a vacation or costs with a group is possible. And overall, this is a transit that is, again, this is the second time you'll be noticing it, so it'll be easier the second time around. But reflecting on your friendships, reflecting on the value of your friendships, realizing the importance of friendships that align with you. I know this sounds like kind of a challenging transit, but the upside of this transit is that it's a chance to really get smart about your finances. It's like you're being given a light bulb moment where you figure out how to balance your budget and still have fun. You'll find creative ways to enjoy life without breaking the bank during this transit. I did mention, holiday shopping is not as fun with this transit, but you'll be very creative and you'll probably be giving the best gifts if you give them at all. I also totally support you not giving anyone gifts and just boycotting Christmas capitalism or holiday capitalism. So use this transit by thinking about how you can be social without spending money. So like hosting game nights, exploring free events, but finding fun, budget-friendly ways to hang out. The square is also perfect for getting you to think about what's really worth spending money on. Like, do you really need that pricey gym membership, or can you just go jogging in the park? It's a really good aspect to align your spending with what you truly value and with your community. Just don't be surprised if there's some sort of tension between community projects with financial issues or material issues. So as you face this one more time, it's about making those real practical decisions where your social life meets your wallet, where a group dynamic meets your finances. So as you face this final Jupiter-Saturn square at the end of the year, it's all about making those real practical decisions where your social life meets your wallet, or where a group dynamic meets your finances. So that's what we have today, Tauruses. How do you feel about this upcoming year? Drop a comment. Tell me which transit you're looking forward to and which transit you are side-eyeing or kind of nervous about. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to help grow our community. And if you want to delve deeper into astrology with me, remember Pisces Fellowship offers weekly and monthly personalized horoscopes. I'm also available for one-on-one consultations, either for readings or for mentorships. And of course, you are welcome to join us in the free 9th House Discord server to keep the astro conversation flowing. Thank you so much, my friends. I will see you next time.